Kaminski and defensive back Antonio Bluiett. We'll begin with the opening statement from Coach, then open it up for questions for the players, and then we'll dismiss the players and continue with questions for Coach.
Just disappointed on our end to not be able to close it out. I don't know what the win probability at the end. Like, you just got to get off the field on 4th and long off of there, and the guy made a play, and obviously, one play changes the game at the end there and puts you on your heels. But we just didn't execute down the stretch off of it. I thought our guys got rattled. At a few plays there, just we're getting down to some guys that probably weren't as big a part of the plan. But there's no excuses at the end. We got to do a way better job there of being able to close out a football game, and congrats to Montana. They kept hanging in there. I think it's a classic case of, you let a good team hang around long enough and it becomes, a game at the end, and they did a good job of just, hanging in the entire day. I thought we were in control of the line of scrimmage most of the day, and, obviously some really big, mistakes on our end coming out at halftime, being able to score a touchdown and covering a guy up, and obviously the clock management and things like that at the end of the first half, not being able to get out of bounds and things like that, it just piled up on us and kept them in the game. So we got to do a way better job of handling those situations end of half, end of game, because it's come up twice now for us, and we ain't been able to close them out.
Questions for the players?
Antonio, could you break down what you saw on that 4th and 12 Montana completed, and then what you saw on the next play when they scored the touchdown?
We drew a play, and we didn't do a very good job communicating, not as good as what we've been taught to do, and didn't execute the play, and that led to them getting a first down, and then we didn't do a very good job handling the noise and the excitement of the crowd and flushing that play and getting to the next one, and then that ultimately led to a play that didn't have a good result for us. So.
And you did have the 2 interceptions. Could you walk through just what you were seeing to make both of those plays?
Just trying to help out wherever I can. We had a corner, Bennett, who was dealing with the foot injury, and so some more reps were given to me, and so I was just trying to do the best I could to help our team win any way that was possible. So if that's making a play on the ball, that's kind of what that was. But ultimately, got to look in the mirror and find ways to be better as an individual and as a team. So.
Jerry, what kind of happened there at the end of the first half as the clock was running down? Did you think you're going to have a chance to spike it, or what happened?
Yeah, we just got to do a better job there, managing the clock there at the end, and then looked up and saw 3 seconds. You can't spike the ball with 3 seconds or less on the clock, so just tried to make a play, try to just give us a chance at the end of half, maybe let one of our better receivers, BJ, go up and make a play and hopefully get a pass interference. Just tried to make a play there.
Jerry, did you feel like, whatever happened at Kansas State that didn't go right, did you see that coming up here again at Montana, or was it new issues for you guys?
I would say it's just looking at everyone looking at themselves in the mirror and just seeing what they can do better. I mean, thought our offensive line did a great job of getting after them, and receivers made a good job making some plays down the field, and I'll be the first one to take the blame. I got to get us in some better checks, better protection sometimes, or I missed some throws that I just can't miss out there, just leaving plays out on the field. I mean, we should have scored a lot more points than we did, and I'll be the first one to take the blame for that. I mean, like I said, not getting us in the right play or missing some throws that I just can't miss.
Jerry, what's the biggest thing you learned from a game like this?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just relaxing and just trusting what's called and trusting what you know. I just think we just can't get tense, and we can't use this game and get down on ourselves. I mean, I thought we did some good things, but obviously there's a lot we need to learn from, and like I just said, I'll be the first one to look in the mirror and see what I can do better.
Montana kicked that field goal, but you guys are still leading. You come out with the ball, get a couple first downs, maybe you could run the clock out. Just what's the mindset of the offense coming out in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, just get a first down, keep the clock rolling, and I mean, we couldn't do that. We put the defense in a tough spot. They're just giving up a field goal, so I mean, it's frustrating. You're in a spot to win the game. All you gotta do is keep getting a couple first downs, one first down here, one play there, and we couldn't do it. So, I mean, I know people want to look at the 4th and 12 and be, the defense couldn't get off the field. I mean, we couldn't stay on the field at the end of that game. I mean, and like I just said, I'll take the blame for that. I mean, I gotta get us in a better play at the end or make a play, do something. Like you just said, we just can't do that there.
So they had the long pass in the first half. Other than that,
it seemed like their offense really could not get into rhythm until they kind of went tempo at the end. What changes as a defender when a team goes up tempo like that?
I don't know if much changes. I just think we have to do a better job handling this. I mean, if something's not working for them, they're a good team. They're gonna make adjustments, so we gotta do a better job handling those adjustments and being pros and being able to execute calls that we get called in from the sideline. So.
Anything else for the players? Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We'll continue with questions for Coach.
Coach, what stands out the most as far as we're gonna do this differently in the 2 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I thought a little bit different. You know, you asked the question early. I think it was you that asked Jerry about, you know, what was the difference between this and Kansas State. I thought at Kansas State we really tried to, you know, force them to be able to throw it in there. Brought four, you know, didn't bring, you know, drop out and play prevent or anything like that, but brought four and really tried to let our pass rushers go make some plays, you know, at the end of the game and make it, you know, make it hard on them to be able to throw it in some tight windows. And then today it was total lack of execution, you know, just, I just feel like our guys just didn't do a good job of handling the moment, you know, at the end there. And we just execute some calls. I mean, they're stressed. You know, we got obviously a big sack by Rucker there to get it to third and long. They throw a little out pass. Good job by them to get it to, you know, 4th and 12. And then it's just like, hey, let's go and end the game, you know, right here. And I just, you know, not very good for us to be able to not execute that call, just bust on it. Guys that should be rushing that dropped, and then all of a sudden now you got, you know, a little bit of confusion on a play, and that's all it takes for a good football team. So I think those are the differences, but obviously the result is the same. We got to be able to, you know, when you work as hard as you do to be able to get in those positions, to be able to be on the road and in really a commanding position to be able to win a football game, you got to be able to do that, and we just haven't been able to close the door yet to this point.
What did they tell you on the Hafer touchdown catch that got called back?
Yeah, he told us that. He told us that he was covered up. We saw him before the play. We told him, hey, back up. He backed up. He went like this to the ref. The explanation wasn't great, but you can't give him, you know what I mean, the opportunity just to be able to line up. He was lined up incorrectly to start out, and then, you know, we get the iPad. So I was standing right behind the ref, and Sam Strandell was one of our leaders, like, hey, you got to back up. So he backs up off of it, puts his hand back, and then they snap the ball. And we try to talk to him like that, and he's like, hey, I didn't see him back up off it, is what he told us at the end of the game. So, like I said, you can't give an official an opportunity to be able to, you know, to make that call when you line up incorrectly here to start out. So it's got a huge play in the game. That's what I was telling him on the sound, like, hey, man, like, make sure that, you know what I mean, you get this right, because we just scored on the play. So it's disappointing.
After K-State, you said that there's no moral victories, but you've been toe-to-toe with K-State now, a number 5 team. There's got to be positives, though, with the direction that your team's heading in.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you can't. I told him at halftime, like, you can't sit back anymore and be like, hey, we can play better. You know, you got to play better in the moments. You got to take care of the opportunities when they're presented to you. I got to coach better. You know, at the end of the half, we work on a lot of different situations, and it's like, hey, take a shot in the end zone. If we don't get it, like, let's run the field goal team out there. Like, I didn't think we were getting too greedy at the 15-second mark to be able to not be able to do that, and maybe we were, just being on the far hash. But then we don't throw it, you know, I mean, we don't take a shot, we make the check down, and then we don't get out of bounds, and then it becomes, you know, obviously a bad deal, you know, for us at the end of the first half. Field goals there, and points were important. So there's a lot of things that come back. I mean, snap, hold, and kicking to start the game, obviously, you know, there's great lessons to be taught as far as, you know, every play matters. I mean, people are going to come down to the fourth quarter, and I get it, but there's a lot of plays in there that, you know, we're driving the football, and I don't know how many times we were on their side of the 50 and did not get points, but it felt like a lot, you know, throughout the game. So we got to be able to close drives better, and then defensively, this was the first time I thought we played pretty consistent football. We gave up the one early on the long throw, but even when they did get some momentum plays, I felt like we were right to punch back and take momentum back and try to stress them again. And then just like I said, the last 2 minutes of the game there, and I thought they did a good job even early on. And I know there was not a lot of possessions left, but they did a good job on the field goal drive of already starting to change tempo and being like, hey, we gotta move the ball down the field here, and it probably on me there to not change up our personnel a little bit faster too as well to match what they were doing.
Anything else for Coach?
I guess you mentioned the field goals late in the first half. It seemed like there were 2 opportunities to try to kick a field goal, but you guys passed up and went for it. Why did you guys do that both times?
The 4th and 4 that we had, and we had banged a couple off of the upright. I didn't feel like the right hash was, you know, the best for us, and we wanted to play aggressively and attack. And you know, we'll go back and look at it to see, hey, was that the right play on 4th and 4 for us to be able to run? But just felt like, you know, we do a lot of things with analytics and things like that, and you know, just, you know, trying to make the decisions in those moments. But we just felt like, hey, that was the right thing to be able to do at that point. Just field goals weren't guarantees, you know. Like I said, we had our first 2 extra points. We missed the first one, and we banged the second one off the upright. So so we decided, like, hey, our best opportunity here is let's go try to score.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks, George.
Yep. Thank